What's up, guys? Jax here. Thanks for visiting my channel, Objective Observations. Tonight I wanted to examine an important topic. It is that of love. Love. What is it? What is it exactly, guys? What is love? You know? Even the guy that sings the song, "What is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more." Even that guy doesn't explain what the fuck love actually is, all right? He's asking his audience, and the audience is going, "We don't know, we're just singing along." Everyone has their own idea of what love is, okay? You've probably heard the saying, in order to, you can't love somebody else until you love yourself, right? But how do we engage self-love if we don't even have a collective definition of what love is? Okay, if I were to ask you what is love, you'll probably pause, self-reflect for a moment, and give me an answer based on your personal experience and your life's path. And everyone has a different answer. So there's really no definitive understanding. There's no agreed upon definition of love. So if that's the case, then how are we supposed to know how to love ourselves? How are we supposed to know how to engage love? Okay, if we see love as something that happens to us, our society has this entitlement to love, like the right person's going to come along and just tick all of our boxes, right? Is love something that we're entitled to? Is it? Or is love something that we consciously engage? Okay? If the only way we can love another person is to first love the self, all right, then love is not something that happens to us at all, is it? Okay? If we cannot love another until we love the self, then what are we doing sitting around waiting for the right person to come along? What are we doing? And when the right person, say, does come along, I mean, he's right in the moment, or she. But how can you possibly love that individual if that individual is filling the space of love that you couldn't fill yourself? Okay? What is self-love? How do we engage it? Most people will say, or some will, I don't know, I eat a box of chocolates, or I take a bath and I shave my legs and I cuddle up in my fuzzy blanket. Or, I read a good book or take some time to myself or whatever, okay? But is that really loving ourselves, okay? When we're examining how to love another through loving the self, we have to examine what is it from another person that we are looking for, okay? What is it what we want in a partner, okay? What we expect out of our partner, what we want them to provide for us. That is what we need to be providing for ourselves, right? Maybe that's how to engage self-love, perhaps. I call romantic partnership in the human collective an exchange of burdens denied, okay? Because it is virtually, it's a trade-off of accountability, emotional accountability. I don't want to handle my shit, so here, you do it, and then vice versa. So we hold one another accountable for ourselves. Why? Why don't we just hold ourselves accountable for ourselves? Well, because it's hard. Because that is the real work of the soul, to be self-accountable, okay? Let me give you an example of what this looks like, okay? Because accountability in the self is practicing and engaging radical self-love, okay? If you want to know how to love yourself, then you must be accountable. Example, your partner goes out and there's some hot chicks or whatever, and they're kind of flirting, and it upsets you, okay? Because it's an exchange of burdens denied, typically you're going to go up to your partner and you're going to say, hey, what the fuck? Why were you talking to those bitches? And you're going to get all upset, and you're going to feel insecure, and it's going to be his job to make you feel better about that, okay? Well, what if I said it's not his job? What if I said it's your job? What if I said that by putting obligations on your partner, like you can't talk to those women over there, or you can't go fishing on Saturday, or you can't do this or that because it interferes with my emotional well-being, okay? That is placing an obligation on your partner. That's placing a limitation on your partner. And what that does is interfere with their opportunity. And love is opportunity because love has no limitation. Love is free-flowing, right? And so you are literally inhibiting the free flow of love, okay? And interestingly enough, the likelihood that your partner is going to cheat on you, okay, is much, much higher when you are giving him ultimatums and rules and consequences if he does. Because when obligation is presented, resentment builds over time, okay? Interestingly enough, the best way to hold on to something is to be willing to let it go, okay? Does that mean that your husband's going to go out and just sleep with whomever the fuck he wants? No, probably not. Because guess what? When he came into the relationship, he's making a choice to be with you. Or she's making a choice to be with you. Why do you need to obligate your partner to the choice they're already making? Just seems kind of counterintuitive. Contradictory, rather. So anyway, being accountable in the self is being responsible for your emotions. When you're responsible for your emotions, you have to look at them. You have to look at your jealousy. You have to be responsible for it. And oftentimes we don't like what we see. That's why being accountable to the self is loving the self. Because being accountable forces us to see ourselves through a lens of love, a lens that is non-judgmental. Because the whole idea of accountability is to grow. The whole idea of accountability in the self is to free the self, and then, in essence, free our partner from our own limitations, really. But yeah, I mean, it's not always beautiful what we're going to see. And so we look upon ourselves with grace. We learn how to love ourselves through accountability. But a lot of people aren't willing to do this because it's really hard. This is the work of the soul. We'd much rather have somebody else do it for us. And then, when it doesn't work out, which inevitably it won't, it wasn't the right person, or we blame that partner, failing to see ourselves as the common denominator in the cycle of relationships in our lives. I mean, same situation, different person, different name, but same situation. And it will continue over and over again and again until we do realize ourselves as the common denominator. A truly loving partnership is a love without requirement. Indeed, love is a dichotomy. So love's only requirement is that it has no requirement. That's a dichotomy, right? That's the dichotomy of the divine that I oftentimes speak of. A love without requirement is a nearly inconceivable concept to most people, because it really hasn't been introduced to our collective, because our collective is used to experiencing a fear of loss masquerading as love. We don't know love at all. Fear of loss is part of that entitled love where we expect it to happen to us. But a love without requirement is a love that is not entitled. It is engaged consciously, okay? There is work put into it. The commitment is to the self. And when we are accountable through the self, okay, then we free our partner to do whatever the fuck they want, which they're going to do anyway, guys, okay? That's another, news flash. Just by obligating your partner to certain things and giving them rules isn't going to assure that they don't do those things. It's going to just make them better liars. Sorry, but it's true. It's true, okay? True loving partnerships are progressive, okay? They don't die out and fizzle out like these honeymoon phase kind of digressive bullshit fear of things do that we experience now, okay? They're very toxic, those kinds of relationships. But a true loving partnership where love through the self, through accountability, okay, is engaged first, and then therefore we can love our partner, they are progressive. They enrich and deepen and strengthen over time. They ascend and transcend together, greater and greater and higher stages of the experience of love. Sex becomes incredible, better and better. You don't have to bust out weird toys, it becomes a soul connection. That's just, you can't get it anywhere else. It's precious, right? But you have to do the work. You have to be accountable for the self. You have to engage love. And engaging love through the self, okay, you're going to attract eventually at some point a partner who's also capable of engaging love through the self, through accountability. When neither partner has a need to fill, when both partners are engaging in authentic empowerment, so basically by being accountable, we are generating an independent sense of worthiness. We don't need our partner to make us feel like we're valued. We already know we're valued. Okay, if there's nothing to get, what else is there to do? What's left to do in the relationship? Well, the only thing left to do is to give. To share, rather. When both energies are engaged in progressive love, in a love without requirement, when both parties are self-accountable, when both parties are engaged in the dynamic and in the partnership through accountability of the self, the only thing left to do is to share in the abundance and the glory and the beauty and the amazingness that is a true loving partnership, an authentically empowered partnership. So that's my take on love. Tell me what you think in the comments. That would be great. If you like what I'm talking about, give me a thumbs up. If you have questions, you can contact me. If you want to help me grow and build some of these dreams I have, because I have a lot of them, you can cash at me below. If you have questions, I'm definitely open to answer any of those as well. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.